Welcome back to part 3 of our mini series. We're going to talk about the channel, and we're going to also draw Liliana here. I realized actually yesterday, because this is day 2 of me working on it now, that characters are often characterized, especially in media, like cartoons and I suppose also card games, that a character is defined more by their actions, their story, and their costume and outfit, rather than their individual facial features. And this allows other artists to draw them. So Superman doesn't always look exactly the same. He's got that little cool hair flippy thing. He's got his costume, but you get different variations in the faces. That being said, I think that Liliana here looks a little bit too placid, too candid. Like, we kind of caught her, drifting off, thinking about Jace Beleren and some of the regrets she might have. So I'm just going to kind of adjust a little bit. And this is something which I think is really important in art. You've got to feel comfortable, be able to say, hey, something's wrong with this picture. I want to adjust it. So I'm going to give her a bit more lidded eyes, a little more introspection. As if she's maybe not quite as caught unawares as we have her so far. But despite that fact, I'm actually pretty happy so far with how it's looking. Again, I'm not using a reference picture. I'm just kind of like drawing away here to kind of give you a sense of what sorts of skills we're going to be talking about on the channel. And I think I'm pretty happy with how this is looking. Again, overall, there we go. She looks a little less surprised and more authentically noble. Like, she's from the House Vess after all, in Dominaria, a great house. She's got a standard bearer now in Magic 21. And actually, I found out that she's often depicted in wearing purple because that's the color of her house. So that's kind of cool. Little bits of lore which they kind of have created within the game, which aren't necessarily stated outright here and there. Like, you get it in bits and pieces in other media sometimes. But here we go. Now she's looking a little more kind of, I don't know, regal. Like she's caught you unawares this time instead of vice versa. And again, just kind of like really focusing on the light and the dark, because it's going to make a really big difference in the picture. There we go. Look at how that's looking there. And she's got her cool banana clippy hairband. I keep calling it a banana clip because that's the only thing I can really think of to describe it. I don't know. Hair is kind of tricky as well because she's got such dark hair. We really need to go darker with the pencil. And this is where, again, if you have a set of pencils, especially set, I should say, you could really make life easier for yourself by using a 6B pencil for dark hair like this. And I do have a pencil set, but again, I'm going to try to avoid using it just for this, at least this for the first couple videos, perhaps, to kind of give you a sense of how to do some of the stuff that we're talking about here. Also, hair doesn't want to kind of show up as individual strands very often. You more often get these clumps, these groupings of hair, and it's when you add reflections in that hair based on the light source. So I'm thinking that it's coming from this sort of direction. You can see it in her eye there. We get some light bouncing off of that hair, and I'm just going to reduce the pressure here as we go. Some in front of her ear. And again, I probably should have my reference picture with me at the moment, but I just don't. I'm just kind of drawing away. When it comes to the channel itself, what I'm hoping to eventually do is draw other characters, other monsters, and maybe even, if I can pull this off and get permission from people, get people from the actual community to have their portraits done, and done as if they were their favorite characters or their favorite you know, in their favorite guild or shard or Khan. Is that from Turkey? Or they're probably not called Khans, but the groupings of 3 different colors as well. And that would, I think, make for an interesting way of interacting with the rest of the community too, because I really want this channel to be not only a positive force, but also one which people can kind of, you know, have some knowledge about, get some notoriety, as it were, some positive experiences and positive interactions perhaps as well with people, and that'd be really cool. So again, adding more dark to your picture really makes a big difference to the way that the overall look turns out. I love how when I first started this video, the picture didn't look very good. You go back to video number 1 when I first started, you might be like, oof, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. It looks terrible. It did. It was so bad at first. And I think that's an important lesson when it comes to art as well, and that is that very often art doesn't look good until it's finished, or at least closer to being finished. So I'm just kind of working out where I want the different clumps of hair to go. And hey, she's not looking too bad there. I think I'm pretty happy with the overall look here. I'm actually going to have her hand kind of over here as well. She's going to be kind of just powering up some purple energy of some sort. So I'm just going to work out where that goes. And you might notice that I do a lot of basic shapes, a lot of circles and squares to help me kind of work out where all the details go. And the hands can be really tricky. And as I mentioned, when it came to the way that sometimes things look worse before they get better, this hand's going to be another example of that. You're going to see how this is probably going to look awful at first, because hands don't look good until you get all of the shading on them. Hands are so expressive, like I'd say even sometimes more so than our faces are, that we really need to add that shading and shadow to make a big difference to them. So maybe she's got, there's her palm, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe she's got, there's different sort of wielding power poses out there. I'm just going to kind of start her off for today and then adjust as necessary. I find that, again, I'm drawing very lightly here. This hand is behind her head, so it's going to be overlapped by her banana clip thing. And maybe even, actually I think the finger would be here, so again, I'm drawing very light as well, so I can make adjustments. I can erase more easily if I don't press too hard. And then you'll have like the purplish power coming off of it there. Again, really rough at first, just kind of give me a sense of where things are going to go. And I think for next time, because we're nearing 8 minutes of actual recording. There's going to be an intro, of course, in my exitro. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to have a shorter one this time around, just so we can kind of see. I've also, I think, decided at this point that a lot of my videos will have me doing the boring stuff like hair, for example, off screen. So I'll do details. I'll do, you know, complicated things that might require explanation on camera, and then I can do some of the mundane, boring stuff. Like once you've seen one bit of hair being done, this part is not exciting at all. So I might skip. Let me know in the comments what your preferences are. If you prefer more videos, actual in real time, just watching it happen, great. And if you prefer me skipping the mundane stuff, which I'm kind of, to be honest, more online with. But again, if enough people say, hey, no, we want to watch that process happen more, then I'm glad to do it. I just don't want you guys to be bored, because that's the worst. But again, like, wow, what a difference. Just even one 9-minute and 57 session can make to the picture. Like, what a difference, just time. And that's where I think a lot of people stumble. They start drawing, it doesn't look great at first, they stop. And even when I'm at my lowest and I'm just like, oh, this drawing is not working, I'll keep going because I know that if I put more work into it, it will look better. All right, so there's Liliana looking pretty sweet so far. I think there'll be one more video probably, and then we'll wrap it up, and we'll start actually talking about drawing individual facial features, and that will really focus on them to give you a chance to try them out yourself. All right, thank you so much for watching. If you could do all of that wonderful YouTube stuff, if you enjoyed the video, if you're so inclined, please give me a like, a share, and if you haven't done so, please consider subscribing as well to the channel. Makes a big difference, makes me feel as if what I'm doing is definitely worthwhile. All right, thanks so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.